Welcome to the Ladies Lounge.
Welcome to the show. I'm your homegirl, Carmen.
And I'm your girl, Lina.
And we're just going to go ahead and address the elephant in the room because people are going to think we planned this. But I'm like getting ready to set up and Angie's doing her thing. And I'm like, is this bitch wearing my shirt? We literally had the same shirt on. By the way, she gifted this to me and I love this shirt. So I was like, oh, I'm going to wear it. Literally, it was yesterday that I was like, oh, I'll probably just wear that shirt tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm looking at her, I was like, nah, maybe she got a different one. It's the exact shirt.
Exact same one. Yeah. The artist is a Hispanic artist and she's super, super dope. I love her designs and, I'm all about protecting our vendors and I just had to get this as support. So
yeah, so if you guys like it, we're gonna link all her information below. I think it's dope. I love the material. I love how big it is. Like it's really, really dope. The art is like super cute. You can see the paletero. Yeah, so shout out to what's their name?
Sonia Artist is her name on Instagram.
Yeah, I love it. But the crazy thing about this, like y'all probably are gonna think like, yeah, right, bitch, y'all made this up, y'all are getting paid. First of all, we're not, we're just supporting. And second, it's crazy because I've noticed more and more how in sync Angie and I are. Like, I'm not even just saying this because like, oh, you guys got a podcast to promote, like legit, like weird things. Like I will be thinking about her to text her because we got business together. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hit her up on this. And like I'll pick up my phone and she's hitting me on the exact same thing.
And you see my bubble pop up.
Yes. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like literally today I picked up my phone to tell her, hey, we good for this time? And she was like, hey, yo, we good for this time? I was like, did I send that or did she send that? And then we show up wearing the same shirt. So if we needed any sort of validation that what we're doing is good and we're on the right path, I think that's more than enough validation for me. It's been a lot of little things here and there that I always like notice. I'm like, dude, are we on the same page on everything? And they always say
alignment.
Yes, the alignment. And they always say like, never mix business with pleasure. And it's true. There's a lot of times that I've dealt with that. And it can be difficult depending on who you choose to work with. But, there are certain situations like Angie and I have known each other forever. So we have literally been through it all. We lived together at some point, and there's always going to be times where you disagree. We're not saying we're perfect, but we've disagreed on certain things. But it's all a matter of how professional you are and how much you respect each other as homegirls and as business partners. I think there's definitely value to that. You and I have talked about how we have certain people that don't have that respect for friends. And we've noticed that, it's important to peep that because how they are with certain people is how they are to you. And when I asked Angie, like, hey, are you down to do a podcast? That was one of the things that, we talked about. It was like, dude, I'm so for it. Like this is a layout. Like, are you with it? And she was all for it. So far it's worked. Let me knock on wood. Some shit happens, you know what I'm saying? But so far everything has been great. And I just think it's so dope. This is just a moment. That's why we're sharing it. Cause like it's a moment that we're like, what the fuck? This is crazy. But anyway, so we got a good show for you today. It's all about story time. Because one thing about Angie and I is we got stories, okay? And sometimes I think Angie has already told me all her stories, but then she'll hit me with some shit and I'll be like, say that for the podcast, okay? So Lala, for those who don't know, Lala's hilarious. Is it Lala Milan? I think it is.
Yes, yeah.
Right, okay, so she is hilarious. She is a social media influencer. She's a comedian. I'm sure you guys know who she is, but anyway, she did a story time on her Instagram where she was talking about this dude that did her dirty. Long story short, she gives details how this guy was like, let's go grab some food. So obviously he initiated the conversation and they go get food. It was like some lobster pizza, like they're in Hollywood now, so they got money. She even said that she's like, listen, I'm not gonna lie, the pizza, it's not cheap, but I was like, I'm willing to go. And she said in her mind, she's thinking, I'm gonna pay for my food. I never once thought he's gonna pay for me because she's like, I've always been raised that way. And just because I have money don't mean it's gonna change. So in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna pay for it. He'd probably ask or whatever. I'd be cool with that, but I'm gonna pay for it. So she goes into, and I guess when she's placing her order, The guy goes to her and was like, yo, you placed the order already? And she was like, yeah. She's like, well, you forgot mine. And so in her mind, she's thinking, oh, okay, maybe he's going to split it, or maybe he's going to choose to pay since he wants to add his pizza to my order. She
Right.
said, mind you, it was $80 receipt because that's how much, it's like 40 some bucks a pizza. So
Mm-hmm.
she's like, we place the order and he leaves. So when it's time to pay, she's like, I'm digging through my purse. She's like, I'm digging. She's playing the role like, when is this motherfucker gonna ask me to pay the shit? You know, like, or
Mm-hmm.
oh, I got it. Or here's
Right.
my part. The guy like literally placed his order and walked off and started talking to his homeboys. So she knew right then and there, like, this motherfucker set me up. So she ends
Yep.
up paying for it. They end up leaving or whatever, I think, and then she gets home. And the next day, or he's like, I enjoyed myself, or that was bomb pizza or something like that. And she was hella mad because she's like, yeah, it was fucking bomb because it was free. It's
Right.
always good when it's free. Yeah. So she gets mad, right? She's bothered, but she's like, I'm gonna peep that. I'm never gonna fucking go there again with you. The next day, I guess he
Mm-hmm.
tried to invite her again, and so she let her have it. Like, bitch, let me just tell you what the problem is. The problem isn't it's the principle. I would have
Right.
paid for your shit, yeah, had you told me whatever. But like, you played me, and then you want to go out and play me again. And I guess at the end of the story, he ended up sending her the money back. But she's like, it's
Oh
not
yeah.
even about that. It's the principle. Like, you fucking played me. So and I
Mm-hmm.
hit up Angie. I was like, yo, do you have a story like this? Because I do. And she was like, you know what? I do. And I was like, all right, we gotta talk about this. So I don't think I ever told you this before, but my story is I had dated I okay, during this time we had kind of dated. We were getting to
Mm-hmm.
know each other. I think it was our first official date or maybe our second one. He
Mm-hmm.
invites me to the movies, right? He's inviting, so I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna pay, but obviously I'm prepared to pay for my own because
Right.
it's our first date or second date, even though I still have never been the one to be like, you pay for my shit. So I'm always prepared to pay, right? So and then this is during the time, by the way, where I didn't have a full-time job. Like, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like I'm banking right now. Like, no.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, can I pay for my okay, cool, whatever. So we get there and never mentions that he's had an issue with his money, that he's had financial issues, never has said anything. We're
Mm-hmm.
getting down to the point of picking the movie, so we're like, all right, let's go with this one, cool. So as we were about to pick the movies, he's like, and then I tell the person like, oh, this is the movie we're gonna go with. He was like, hey, real quick, do you mind paying for mine? And then I got his next time. He said, because he said, my check was supposed to come in and it didn't come in. So like I'm asked out. First thing I thought was, then why the fuck didn't you cancel the date?
Okay.
What would you
Yeah.
have thought, right? Like, why the fuck
Yeah.
didn't you cancel the date? Now,
Yeah.
again, like Lala said, it's the principle. Like, you invited
Mm-hmm.
me, so I'm thinking I'm paying for my half, you pay for yours, right? But
Right.
no, he waited literally until I got to ordering. So I was like, this motherfucker. All right, whatever. So I paid, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
more upset at the fact that, like, as a man, how do you not think, oh fuck, this is embarrassing? Let me
Right.
just tell her something came up. Lie to me,
Mm-hmm.
some shit. So he kept it like a bug with me, but at the same time, I was like, this is weird though. Like, it's we're barely getting to know each other, and two, like, I'm starting to see the red flags, but again, I'm stupid because I still continue dating him. But at that point, that was a red flag that this guy is not thinking how a real grown ass man should think, which is,
Right.
I don't have my shit. I shouldn't even be dating right now if I can't afford to pay for my date and, and my dates and
Right.
mine. So I'm like, oh my God, this is weird, whatever. So I ended up paying for everything, never paid me back, never, that was never brought up again. Um, I continued dating him. The reason why I continued dating him though is because outside of that, he had good dick
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It'll do that. It'll do that to you.
it'll do it to you.
I
That
got it, baby.
wasn't
Don't worry about it. I got it.
I got you. You want to go again? I got you. No, but it wasn't just that. He legit was a good person. Like, he had all the qualities, was a sweetheart. He
Right.
embraced the fact that I was a mom. Like, everything was good. It wasn't until shit started getting serious where I realized, like, he's not as mature as I thought. And the red flag would
Mhm.
have been at the fucking movies, the first date, when he said, by the way, my check didn't come in. So you're living check to check, bruh. You shouldn't be dating right now. You should be focused on your career. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So yeah, that's how I got dirty. So I was like, man, that's fucking funny, because it seems as though like women go through this a lot. And I didn't, at the time, I didn't realize it was a thing, but you also said you dealt with a situation similar to that.
Yeah. So there's this like random guy that I had met, and we went out one night and he goes to pay and his card declines. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. And he's like, it's okay to
And
pay.
like he scanned it and
Yeah, you know when you like go to pay and then like it like declines. So
yeah,
then
I've
the
been
waiter
there. I've
comes
been there. Okay.
back. Yeah. So the waiter comes back. It's like, sir, I'm so sorry, but do you have another card? Like this card declined. So I'm looking like, oh, shit, because I wasn't prepared to pay. Mind you, so I'm a little opposite of you. I expect you to pay if it's our first date. Like it's an expectation. I'm not paying for shit on the first date. I don't know why I'm like that, but that's just like my rule.
There's a lot of women that think that way. There's nothing wrong with that. I agree that there are women. I just haven't done that. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. So I'm like, okay, this is our first time we're actually going out and your card declines. So now I'm like digging in my purse, but like how Lala like digging in her purse a little bit, how you be like, just trying to like
you making loud ass noise, like
pulling everything from the bottom to the top, flipping everything in there. So I'm
so was
like,
it because you weren't ready to pay, or like you didn't have the funds, or you were like just prepared to pay for your date, if anything?
I mean, I would have paid for his, but I didn't want to. I'm so like headstrong about this is the first date. You have to pay. I don't care if it's your light bill money. Like you need to pay for this.
Take that out your light bill. You want this
sit in
coochie?
the dark. You gonna sit in the dark for a week, okay?
For a week, okay? This coochie gonna be worth it.
Right. So he's like, I'll be right back. Oh, and mind you, this guy is from London. So he has the accent, So he's like, he's like, I'm literally gonna go and get the money.
Hey, at that point, you're like, you know what, baby, don't even sweat it. I got you. Cause that, it just Alba motherfucker.
So I'm like, okay, you fine. And you got the accent. So I might just pay for it tonight. But he did end up getting the money. Comes back, he pays for it. So then we go on a date on the second time. Girl, tell me why. This is karma. This is straight karma. My card declined.
I'm glad you embraced it because you realize like, fuck, it happens sometimes.
So I look at him like, you gonna get this pizza? Cause
the way my bank account is set up. Remember the last time I did this for you? Your turn. Or did you set him up? Did you really was your card really declining?
No, it really was. Like my card really. So I go and I check my account and I'm like, what the hell? Like, why do I have $10 in my account right now? Like, what the hell? So I'm freaking out and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So he's like, don't worry about it. I got it, whatever. So he ended up paying that time. And I think we went out like another time and then I ended up paying for it. So for me personally, I don't mind paying. It's just the first date that I'm like a stickler for, because usually it's the guy who's going to invite me anyways, like I'm not one to really like ask a guy out. I'm expecting if you're asking me out, you're going to have the funds. I'm not expecting a $200 date. I will say this is something I learned through dating. So after the decline situation, I had to think to myself, like, you really don't know what a man's pockets looks like when you're going out with him, so I do try to order like, something reasonable. Like I'll look at the menu and I'll look at the price and I'm like, okay, if it's like below $20, like, bro, you better be able to like afford that. If not, we might have some trouble. But for the most part, I feel like I try to be as reasonable. I don't ask for like these huge, dates, but if we're going to a restaurant, please have enough money to at least feed me, because I eat. I like to eat.
You do like to eat. I did too. That's the one thing. I think that's probably how we became good friends, because we both realized we could eat. And at all times of the day, ain't no after 6 o'clock, nothing. Okay. You're eating at all times of the day.
Okay.
But it's funny because when you said like, oh, I have my rule is like the first date, you guys got to pay. There's a lot of women that think that too, but at least you're reasonable with coming up with like, all right, listen, I'm not going to, bend your pockets the first day either. I'm not going to go with the lobster when I know that's expensive. That's some shit I would do with my boss. Like my boss going to take me out. Oh, I know how your pockets are. So,
okay. Yes.
Lobster.
That's different. So, how I used to work at law offices. Girl, them lawyers love to eat. So they would take us to lunch all the time.
Yeah.
Trust me, when we were at the, top tier restaurants, I was like a steak and a lobster and an appetizer and a few drinks and a dessert to go. Thank you.
Yeah, but they, that's true. They do like to. I have a friend, actually, he became a friend, but I was telling you about him. He was, I endorsed him for a minute, and I was with him. I was a little bit shy to like go overboard like I would with my boss, because with him, he has shown me on so many different occasions that he's all about giving. He's a giver. He's a sweet guy, and so like I knew that he could afford certain things, but I'm like, man, this guy is hella cool. And obviously we're business. Like I could have been like, nah, I'm gonna need this, and that, But there was something about the way he was so tender and so giving to others that I was like, I can't do that to him.
Right.
By the way, shout out to Scott Bandwagon. And by the way, he is hella cool. If you have listened to the radio show or anything, he has actually, we might have to have him on.
You know what? I'm gonna call him and be like, is y'all hiring?
Yes. I may have to link you up, because you know what? He's a gringo, straight up gringo, speaks English and Spanish fluently. So good. Like he has obviously a little accent, but I love it. I love that he's so devoted in helping Latinos. That's why I'm like, dude, that's what made me really love him, because he's all about helping people that get injured at work, get injured in car accidents, at stores, at businesses. So we may have to have him on, and I may have to link you guys, because that may be a little job opportunity for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's hilarious, dude. I think when it comes to like dating, there's so many fucking red flags that we don't notice until like after. So with the guy that you were talking to from England, is he still in the picture? Like, is he a homie?
We're still cool. His birthday is actually the day after mine. So we definitely
sign.
keep it cool. And he's just like one of those people that you keep around for eye candy. He's good looking, he has the accent, and you can't go wrong with that. So
bow chicken wow. So you're saying that he's one? Okay, so he's one you would go back to, like, tap here and there.
Absolutely.
No strings attached. I like that. Those are the types that that they're not toxic, and they're not hitting you with some crazy shit like, oh, I heard your podcast, or oh, you out here dating other motherfuckers. Like, I like that. The no strings attached. He's a keeper.
Yeah,
may have failed you on that first date though.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're both Libras, so we definitely like get each other.
Yeah.
And it's always a good time. So it's like, why not? Like it's always nice to be around somebody that you can have fun with. But if it's somebody that you're around and you're just arguing and like, it's just adult, like, I don't care to be around, but he's fun, so I'll keep him around.
I like that. Well, this is so funny. We had came across a video, and I think everyone did actually. It was viral. I saw it on so many different sites that had posted it, but I sent it to Angie because I was like, this shit is hilarious. But at the same time, like, it triggers me a little bit. I don't know why. And the thing is, I ain't even got a crazy story like that. I do, but I think you have a better one. I didn't get to Angie's story, and this is what I was talking about earlier, how like, I think I know everything about you, and then you hit me with some new shit. So basically, this video is about a girl who must have her shit together because she is currently, I think, has like several homes or something like that. And so in the video, she shows up to one of her homes, which is vacant, right? And she goes in to find her fucking ex fucking some random girl on an air mattress on the floor. So long story short, the video goes on forever. He's like clown. You could tell she's at that calm stage of being angry because she's so over his shit already. Like, he must have done shit over and over again. The only time she got really pissed is when he tried to talk shit back, to say some shit like, well, we're broken up. And that's when she was like, motherfucker, I know we're broken up, but this is my fucking house.
Right.
And this is my fucking bed. And then she starts clowning the girl, kind of. She clowns the girl so nonchalantly because the thing is, she wasn't trying to fight the girl because she knows that she's not the problem. The problem is, right? And so the girl starts getting mad too because she starts like looking at him like, really, this ain't even your place. And so she's like, wait, so you have a home and you're here with him on an air mattress on the floor? Like, what? So she starts kind of clowning her too, like, girl, if you got your shit together, why are you messing with a man who's got you on a fucking floor to fuck, And I was like,
Right.
oh my God, this is so funny because a lot of women have caught their men like this. I know quite a few. My situation was kind of similar, but nothing to the extent of what Angie's about to tell you. Now I don't know this story, so this is the first time I'm hearing about it. But she did mention it's her ex-husband. So it's your ex-husband.
Yep. So this is back like before I even had my daughter. So this is like, we'll say 16 years ago. So we had a huge fight the night before, like to the point where it got physical, and I ended up leaving to go to one of my friends, and then he ended up going out somewhere. So while I'm at my girl's house, I was sleeping in her bed, and something wakes me up out of my sleep, and it's like 5 a.m. and that little voice is telling me, go to your house, go to your house, go to your house. So I end up going to my place, and as I'm driving up, he's walking somebody out from our apartment. And
No
when
fucking
I
way.
tell you, yeah, and it was crazy because I reacted so quick. I threw my car in park, and I just remember jumping out of the car and running after them. She
Wow.
ends up jumping. I guess her ride was already there. That's why he was walking her out. She ends up jumping in the car, and she locks the door, and I'm like banging on the window, and I'm like yelling, and she was getting in a car with like full of people. So I'm just calling her all kinds of hoe, and like, that's my husband. And of course at that point he had already left. Like, he didn't even care what happened.
Wow.
So
that bastard fucking left you there to deal with that?
Yep, with a bunch of people, mind you. She had a car full of people, so they could have easily came out and did something to me.
Wow, he
So
really gave
he
no
goes,
fucks.
yeah, so he goes back inside, and me and her like going back and forth. They end up taking off. I walk into our place, and I'm looking at the knives because I'm that pissed at that point. I'm like furious.
What, like, did the house look different? Like, does it look like he cleaned up? Like what was the setup?
Everything pretty much looked the same, except there was our blankets on the floor. So obviously that's where they were. And I
there's
mean,
pictures obviously of you guys in the house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was our place. So that's why it's like she knew, and she knew who I was. So like this girl already knew that he was married and everything. So
Wow.
I'm furious at this point, and I'm looking around, and he's just like sitting there, like he didn't care. Like he didn't even, he was more sorry that he got caught than like the fact that he did it,
Ugh.
So I end up just like grabbing my stuff, and I leave. And I didn't hear from him for like a few days. And I finally went back to get some more stuff, and he was just like laid out on the couch.
Girl,
And
that motherfucker really gave no fucks.
At all.
And then
He
this
didn't
wasn't
even
even
like,
the first time he cheated, right?
oh no, this was, I had caught him before. This was just the first time I had actually like caught him in the act, basically with somebody. So of course, naturally I'm going to be upset. Like, this is my husband. This isn't like just some regular guy.
Yeah.
Thankfully at that point though, we didn't have our daughter. So, she wasn't around for any of this. But like, I think a couple months after this happened, I ended up getting pregnant. So
I know you look back and it's like, fucking shit. It's crazy because when we're young, like, we don't think about certain things. Because at that point you're thinking, obviously you had been trying to have a baby.
Right.
You're married, so it's not like someone that you're just dating. So it's like, fuck, there's all kind. And then again, you're young and you're trying to figure life out yourself, and you're trying to, you fall for the okie doke of like, it's never gonna happen again. Let's do this right. And it sucks because like you don't fucking know. So I know that video triggered you because when I sent it to you, you were like, first thing you said was his name. And I was like, oh yeah, I know she's mad. Yeah, man. And that just goes to show, like, it's crazy. The story I had wasn't as bad, but it was during the time. And again, it was a red flag, and my dumbass still continued dating after that.
Wait,
But,
was it the same guy?
Huh?
Is it the same guy?
No. It's a different guy.
Okay.
So we're getting to know each other. So we're like doing the whole talking on the phone all the time. Social media it was during MySpace days. So it wasn't even like, you're posting all the time to see what you're doing, because it wasn't like that. It wasn't like you post every minute of the day. You just post every once in a while.
Right.
So we're talking on the phone. We're doing the whole late night calls, like that was in back in the day where you like fall asleep on your phone or whatever. So I'm talking to him. We're having like a deep conversation. Man, we must have talked about everything, right? Get this. So he has a baby, right? And I knew he had a baby. So he has a baby, and I guess they had a baby monitor in the room. Again, I don't know his living situation, so I'm getting to know him. I didn't know that he had a whole baby mama he was living with. I didn't know that he was deep in that situation still. So we're talking, and I guess I can only picture him being hella comfortable on the phone, and then I hear, "Are you fucking serious?" And click. That's all. That's all I hear. That's literally all I hear. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what is it? So I to this day, I don't remember how I knew that story. He probably told me himself eventually, but I knew it was a monitor that heard that conversation. And that's how she discovered that he was being with other people. And obviously, for her to be that mad, they were obviously still together. You know what I'm saying? She probably had the monitor in the living room, and was probably either trying to set him up, because obviously that motherfucker's a player, still to this day is. But she probably tried to set him up. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see if this, and his dumb ass was, who she probably heard the whole shit. But I'm like, damn, it took her a long time. Or maybe she grabbed it and saw, was like, oh shit, I wonder if this is on. Like, is he in there? You know, I don't know. But we talked about everything, what our plans were, what we should do next, how I should go and kick it with him, how he was inviting me over, how you got to come to my place, because I'm fixing some shit up, blah, 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 like everything. So who knows? But I'm calling him back because I knew at that moment, I was like, this motherfucker, like, are you kidding me? I clearly heard a girl, and I clearly heard her say, are you fucking serious? So I'm like, there's no way that would be anybody else but a female that he's talking to or is with, right? So I'm calling him, blowing him up. I'm like, I'm fucking going over there because, like, you're a piece of shit. You're a liar. It ain't even like that. Like, you don't understand our story. I was like, nah, like, fuck that. You're lying to me. Like, I know that was somebody. And eventually, come to find out, it was his baby mama. Did I continue dating him? I did. Because then he basically fooled me, but he clarified that it was the mother of his child, but they're not together. They're obviously sleeping in separate rooms. And that's how she eventually, got mad, because, he's basically dating while they're still living together, but they're not together. So I fell for the okie doke. He did his part on trying to prove to me. And yes, later on, it came out like that he wasn't really with her, but obviously they were fucking still, you know what I'm saying? And that's why she was, emotionally involved with him. The baby was still kind of little. So I can only imagine, especially me being a mom now, like, I know like what she was probably thinking. Everything from the fact that even if we're not together, you're not talking to no bitch on my bed, while you have the baby's, the baby's crib right next to you. And like, we're still living together. Our pictures are still everywhere. Like, oh my God. So basically he tried to play me. And the reason why he was delaying me getting to his place was because he probably wanted to take down all the pictures and probably wanted her to be gone. But because she was still there, he was just giving me the runaround for a while until, we got to actually date. So then eventually we started dating. Girl, there was so many other things. Eventually I ended up catching him. So again, it goes back to us being young and dumb and fucking full of cum. Because
I don't know. I can't have that excuse because I was in that situation last year, remember? So
yeah, it's true. But hey, you live and you learn. Like, what did you say? You posted something the other day about turning your lessons to like understanding your lessons are blessings or something like that. Sometimes it takes for you to go through some shit, and I'm not giving excuses. I ain't gonna lie, I was dumb as fuck. Like, I really fell for that. I had daddy issues, and I had my daddy in my life my whole life, so I don't know what the fuck going on, But I will say, after that situation, I think it took a lot for me to eventually mature. Like, I got to a point in my life after that situation because I left out the part that is the father of one of my kids. So, eventually I learned, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I got to value myself. I got to really and it took a lot. Like, it was deeper than that. I dealt with a lot in that relationship, but it made me like the strong person I am now. And it sounds cliche to say, but it really did. Like I learned how to not do that again, you know? And then when I was dating after that, I realized that because I was quick with like exiting out conversations and too much delaying when I can see red flags. And maybe I dismissed some people that weren't necessarily bad for me, but I was so with this wall, like to, you know what I'm saying? To defend myself, to protect myself, to protect my peace, to protect my kids, that I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to do that again. I knew for a fact I did not want to do that again. And obviously it was a domestic violence. It was just a lot. And so at the time I look back now and I'm just like, what the fuck was I thinking? And same with you, like we think back now, it's like, we would never, but it's like, fuck, you just never know. Like you said, I recently went through that, you know, it's like you're thinking that you'll never make mistakes again, but that's how life is. Life is really a journey where you're learning, you live and you learn, and you choose to learn certain things. And sometimes the learning lessons doesn't come until after, you know what I'm saying? Like way after. And then you realize like, shit, that was a red flag. So the next time I date someone, I'm gonna make sure this doesn't happen. And that's why you give the whole, I'm gonna make sure that he ain't messing with no neighbor. He ain't got no baby mama. He ain't got no girl he's talking to. He ain't got no social media girl he's talking to. Cause it is important to ask all them fucking questions. And yeah, so after that, like, let's just say eventually I figured out like that was a toxic situation, because regardless of him moving on with me and us having a relationship, he ended up still with her to this day. They live together, are not together, and he's still out there in the streets. He's for the streets. So it goes to show you that some people never learn. And luckily I escaped that, you know, because was it easy? No. Was it like the promise to never do it again? It wasn't like he was just like this. It was like long and hard, trying to work at trying to get me back. But as hard as that shit was, I managed to get out of that and get under another motherfucker. I'm just kidding. No, I managed to get over that. And then I ended up like dating around, like I said, and then I met the man that I'm with now. Now my relationship again isn't perfect, but I can definitely say it's a lot healthier than what I've been through in the past. And I think all of the shit that I went through made me put it all on the table. You know what I'm saying? To where we're at now. But speaking of dating, you know, you and I were talking about this on the last episode. The whole, we wish we knew everybody's resume, the people that we're dating.
Oh yeah.
So we literally were talking about this the last episode. If you guys go back and listen, I asked Angie, you know, like while you're dating, what are some of the questions that you ask? And I just like, you know, I asked this about the finances, and I asked about this and that. And I'm like, oh, those are good tips for women who are listening. Like these are some things that you should ask. And some of the conversations are going to be uncomfortable, but they're important. And I was like, man, I just wish there was a way that we can have men have a resume that they cannot control, that they cannot like Wikipedia change. You know what I'm saying? Where it literally gives you the truth about that person. Obviously, you don't get the full details, but something. And then Angie hits me with boom. What was it? Tinder?
Yes, Tinder.
So Tinder is apparently doing, and I got some research because I was like, oh no, we got to share this. So for those who don't know, Tinder is apparently now going to be allowing users a choice of running a background check on their potential match using match's first name and phone number. So they've teamed up. So Tinder has teamed up with Match. Match in turn has teamed up with it's another Garbo. So Garbo, I guess, is where you get all the public records. So the thing is, there's certain ways to find out. So it's not necessarily a resume, but it is a background check. And there's certain things that you can get from this. So it says Tinder will allow users to be able to get a background check before actually dating them. So you'll have different information like public records and reports of violence or abuse, including arrests, convictions, restraining orders, harassment, and other violent crimes. And get this, they're even going to allow them to submit manually. So some people can actually submit certain things about people, is what I'm assuming, by manually. So you'll have the public records of what that person has done just by their first, last name, and phone number. How fucking crazy is that? Which obviously in Tinder you end up exchanging anyway, right?
If you want to, yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but if you want to, eventually, you know, you end up, I would assume you meet up and then you exchange numbers, or
Well,
exchange?
when you registered, did you have to put your number in there?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I don't remember
Maybe.
either.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't remember. I think
I was gonna ask you, but I was like, let me not get her in trouble.
nah, he knows. He knows I try to Tinder my way up out of here. I tried to be for the streets and it just wasn't for me.
You know what's funny though? I like that you guys have like were that honest with each other, because I recently was talking to someone about this situation that he had with his ex, where they basically broke up because she caught him. Well, no, let me back up. He got on Hinge. So Hinge is like this new.
Oh yeah, what is that? Because I've heard of that.
I haven't used it, but I keep
Yeah.
hearing about it. So it's pretty much like an advanced Tinder. And
Okay.
so basically he was at the barber shop, you know, the men were talking about how all kinds of beautiful women are on Hinge. He got curious and he just wanted to see. So he created an account, and he said he never like was really on there. He just wanted to see what it was about. So apparently somebody that she knew saw him on there and was like, hey, you know, I saw your boyfriend on there. So they end up breaking up. And you know, of course, every now and then I'll mess with him and I'll be like, hey, what are you doing? Are you on Hinge? Like,
yeah, don't get caught again. No, I'll be honest with you. The main reason why, two main reasons why I chose to tell him is because remember I told you I suck at lying or keeping up with my lies.
Right.
Girl, you could easily catch me lying, by the way.
Yeah.
If I've done a little white lie, I'm forgetful with names, with faces and names. Like, so if I have lied to you in the past or to someone, I'm gonna put it out there. You can easily catch me. You just got to question me again. Because 9 times out of 10, I will not remember the lie I told you. So,
and I just go with it. I just go with whatever you say. If you tell your man something, I'd be like, yep, yep.
That's what
exactly
happened.
Yep.
Well, you know, we talked about that whole situation because, you know, the initial thought was he knew you were on Tinder. So the initial thought was, Andrew put you up to this. And it was like, no, actually, Andrew was the one that warned me, like, girl, you ain't gonna fight and shit on that. Like, you were totally opposite. And I'm not just saying that to try to protect you as my friend so that he doesn't hate you. Like, legit, you always told me, like, girl, you ain't gonna fight shit. Like, and I'm like, at that point, I was so desperate, obviously, just trying to have fun. I have been in a committed relationship, a loyal person, by the way, for so long that I was like, fuck that. And I just recently heard someone said too, that women only cheat as revenge while men cheat for ego. So, and it's true. I'm like, and this is a guy that said that. And I was like, damn, man, that sounds about right. Cause how desperate was I? Remember, I was like, girl, you got a friend? You got a friend?
You know what though? Some of the ones that you was swiping with were fine. I'm sorry to your man, but I will say some of them were very fine. I was like, can I match with them real quick?
Oh, that's so funny because you actually did fucking tell me that. And it's true, you know, it's true the fact that like there were potentials. And don't get it twisted. I remind him every now and then. I'm like, don't you forget that I found Tinder, okay? And I found what I could do. But obviously it's like it's jokes, but you know damn well there's some serious to that. But it's funny because the reason why I chose to tell him was because I knew that I couldn't keep it with lie. And two, I know that eventually someone's gonna say something about seeing me on there. And then guess what? I ended up coming across someone who actually saw him on Tinder. So his ass was on Tinder too. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, look, the good thing is I didn't lie. And the good thing is he didn't lie. Because had he been like, well, why were you on Tinder? I wasn't. Because
right. Well, I told you guys what happened with me and Travis. I mean, we're not dating, but you know, that's what happened. We were both, I was embarrassed just for the fact that like I was talking so much shit about it. And then he's like, is this you?
This bitch. No, but the funny part about that though is that I know that embarrassment you felt because that's how I felt when it's like, fuck, that's why I don't like lying. Cause I hate confrontation. I hate it. Like, and if someone's gonna like confront me on some shit like that, and I know I fucking lied, or oh my God, I start sweating. I start like, oh, I can picture myself looking so stupid. That's why I was like, I'ma just lay it on the table. But anyway, the cool thing about Tinder doing this is because Angie and I are like, this is a perfect fucking thing to do. Because the whole thing was, I asked Angie, like, what are some questions that you can ask her? And like, since we can't have fucking background checks, and then boom. So it is going to be happening. Now there is going to be a fee, but obviously, don't you think it's fucking worth it?
Hell yeah. Cause you never know who you're dealing with.
You really don't. It says a background check on Tinder won't be free. But Match is working with Garbo to figure out the price so that they're accessible to most of the users. So there is going to be a fee, but obviously it's worth it, ladies. So you don't have to deal with like fucking dealing and weeding out guys and stuff. Now, granted, I think it's safe to say that it's normal to date around. So like for women who are just getting into the dating scene, so women who are like 18, young ladies who are dating, it's not ever going to be the first one. It's a very rare occasion where the first man that you meet is going to be the one. So just know that going in, that there are going to be some men that are just meant to be there for the pleasure, that are just meant to be there for the ride, that are just meant to be there for the experiences. So
for the free
it's
dinners.
Okay. For the what?
For the free dinners.
For the free dinners. The free concerts. You had a lot of those. Yes. So those things I think we should normalize that it is normal to make mistakes. It is normal. Like, don't feel bad about it. And when people say like, or talk about the numbers, like, oh, how many times have you dated? How many dicks have you had? It's like, bruh, it's all part of the journey. we both counted down. I'm just saying, there's a lot. I dated in my time when I was free, but I think with me, it's like I'm so wanting to have a relationship that's why I was always constantly dating. Like in my whole radio career, I always had somebody, and that's the thing that I always got told, by the people who have been in radio or been in the game for so long. They would always tell me like, girl, give yourself time, because there is, and it's true. Like there was temptation was everywhere. Still to this day is, but it's all about what you want. So it wasn't hard for me to be like, oh, I don't want to cheat, but I can understand why a lot of people in entertainment cheat, which is why I would never date someone in entertainment. And I know that it sounds like bad, because I've had men that's like, well, you wouldn't date someone in your position. So why do you feel some type of way when people judge you? Because I told you, like, I've tried dating a few people that were just keeping it real with me, and were like, I can't see myself dating someone that gets so much attention. And I'm like, bruh, I don't even get not even a 1% of what Kim Kardashian does. Like, you can handle this. It's your insecurities. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
But more than anything, like entertainers. Oh, by the way, can we clarify whether or not you're ever going to continue dating people in entertainment? Because we've known and have seen, Angie, that it's been failures. Okay. So you're obviously in entertainment too. So this shit is easy for people to cheat. So are we going to set the record here to let people know you will no longer date anyone in entertainment? Or is there still a little open door like Chloe had when they asked her about dating ballers? She's like, I ain't gonna close that door yet.
We'll just say if it's somebody that I can trust and that can trust me, then I'm open to it. But funny enough, so I do have somebody who is pursuing me again. And the crazy situation with that is he's basically never wanted to commit to me because he was engaged with somebody who cheated on him with one of the singers from Jagged Edge. So mind you, I love Jagged Edge, okay? Like I love me some Jagged Edge. So I'm gonna be playing Jagged Edge in the house if we together. Okay. He's gonna feel some type of way every time he hears "Let's Get Married." Like he gonna feel a way.
Yeah, he gonna feel some type of way.
So I feel bad because I've been in a situation. So a few years ago, one of my homies, he invited me to one of his shows. He's one of the guys from oh my gosh, why am I blanking out right now? Sorry, my dog's like going crazy in the background.
It's okay, girl. This is the power of fucking being quarantined and still podcasting. We still working. The dog just want to be part of it. He's featured. We're gonna add him on our features. We're gonna tag him
like my mom, like my mom in the background. Okay, so he invited me to a concert that he was going to be performing at. And some of the artists that were there were like 112, Jagged Edge, Silk, like all the top like R&B groups. So, you know, my ass was backstage like, hey, hi, everybody. Like, I was having so much fun. And when I saw Jagged Edge, I thought, oh my God, like, you know, and I knew exactly which one it was. So I was just cracking up because they, when they saw me, they were like talking to me like they knew me. So I was just cracking up at the fact that like, I can see why he would be insecure about me being around all of these R&B singers. And, you know, a lot of the times, like y'all saw Travis is one of my good friends. We have a few other good looking friends that, you know, I'm around and can make, you know, a guy feel insecure. Like, damn, not only your friends, you know, tall, dark, and handsome, but they're talented too. Like, I can understand why a guy, a quote unquote normal guy, would feel some type of way about it. But these guys in entertainment as well, they ain't shit. So it's like, you know, it goes both ways. So I'm open to it. If a guy is willing to deal with what comes with this, then I'm for it.
I think that the reason why men, because, you know, the men that are like the regular people who aren't in entertainment and they're jealous or have insecurities, but the men who are in this industry also have insecurities, they have the right in two different ways, right? So the regular person doesn't understand this lifestyle. They just see all the attention that you get. They just see how easy it is for you to have good or be surrounded by good looking men or men who are established or men with careers or men in entertainment. So I can see where that insecurity would come from. With men in entertainment, their shit is shady though, because they have that insecurity because they know how they are, you know, and they know what they see and they know what they're capable of. So that's why they have that different sense of insecurity. And that insecurity is actually a toxic one, because that one is like, you know what the fuck going on. And that's why you don't trust other men, because you are that man. You know what I'm saying? Like you're that type of person. But I think going into it, you should know that there are ways to establish, because yes, you're always going to be surrounded by men. Like some of your closest friends are good looking and talented, but you can find someone who eventually can understand or grow to you know, establish that friendship with them too. Because I will say with my situation, it wasn't easy. Like obviously I was the only woman in radio, when this radio station that I was working for so long. So there were a lot of questions, but it's all about how you address it, right? So if he is telling you like, you know, what's up with this dude? Did you ever mess with him? Like, just be open about certain things. And it got to the point where even when he knew certain dudes that I did talk to or that I was messing with or I was in a relationship with, he was open to that. Like he eventually got to the point where he shook hands with someone I was dating, with a DJ I was dating, you know? So it's like there is room there for growth. It's just you will know eventually whether or not. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny is, you know how I've been catching up with Being Mary Jane, and do you remember, I forgot what season it is, but basically this is like after she had the baby, and she's dating Morris Chestnut, but he's like Bo on there. And Bo, and the light skin with the pretty eyes, they end up fighting. And I was cracking up because of the way men act when they both know they were involved with a woman and she's in the same room too. I had a situation like that happen on one of your birthdays when I walked in with my boyfriend. And
I know.
It was so awkward. It's one of those like, oh,
because they're trying to, and I don't know why, it's for their own ego, because it ain't like you're interested, but it is like they're trying to outshine each other. You know what I'm saying? To make sure the other one knows that I was there first. I hit it first. And then also that like, oh, you ain't an upgrade. And then the other one's like, yes, I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then all this is happening, by the way, without speaking. Like they don't speak to each other. You could just tell. And I remember you telling me too, is like, oh, this is awkward. But it's like men have that and women do too. That shit is awkward. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you shouldn't date someone in the industry, but then I get it, because only they would understand what late night, you know, hours mean, you know?
Right. Well, you know, Mr. Officer was actually really cool with that. He never gave me an issue, but you know, then again,
I don't know. Mr. Officer's got some things that I'm sure he's hiding. Could be wrong.
We know.
But there's just he gave me there's more to what you're seeing on the surface vibes.
That part.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on.
And he's gonna listen to this because he's a regular. I will say he does support. He does support us. So he's gonna hear this and he's gonna be like, "They're talking about me again."
Well, it's good to welcome, by the way. So it's good to know that that like my senses are right. So there is something. Okay. So yeah, I knew I got something because I was like, you're too good to be true, but I also don't want to be a bitter, girl that's been hurt before. But then I was like, something just, I don't know. We don't have to get into detail, obviously, but I know it's got to be something that you're not comfortable with.
Right. It's one of those like, I mean, that's good for you. I'm happy for you.
It won't work for me.
But it's not for me.
Okay, let's not dive into that because he is a regular. So I appreciate you for listening, Mr. Officer. But anyway, yeah, man, we just wanted you guys to know about the whole Tinder situation. They are going to be running background checks, which I think is so dope. Shout out to everyone who's out there dating. Fucking pay that extra fee. Okay. Tinder's already free. So the least you could do is pay for you to know whether or not these people are crazy. Because remember, last episode I talked about me dating some guy that was in jail for 5 years and never knew, never would have known. I dated him I think maybe 2 years, a year. I don't even remember. But we were so tight. It was so dope that I would have never imagined that he had a history like that. If it wasn't for that girl that told me, I really would have never figured it out. Who knows? Right. Probably would have ended up being with him. We probably would have tried to build together and then realize like, shit, you can't get a job. You can't do this. You can't do that because you got this history, So it's good to know that at least there are, and then the fact that people can manually submit it, which means there's exes or something that could be like, oh girl, I know he's on Tinder. Just so you know, he did this and that, or I got a restraining order on him. Like this shit is gonna be good. And I feel like people are gonna switch from Tinder to what's the other one?
Hinge.
Like fuck Tinder. Y'all want to run a background check on me? But listen,
Facebook dating.
I just think it's smart, man. And if dudes start leaving Tinder, then good. Weed out the bad ones. That way y'all can date some real ones. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. I think we've talked enough today. I got to get going. My kid is still sick, so I got to deal with that. But yeah, until next time. And by the way, next episode, we have plans for you. We're going to get a little deep, but I think it's time for people to know, certain things about my life that I haven't opened up on. And I think it's important because I'm in a place now where I can speak on it. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to bring awareness to what women go through that you don't see, and this is not just me because I'm in radio or I'm in the spotlight, but also just women in general. Because you know how we come across people sometimes and we always want to give them the benefit of the doubt when they're being assholes, like at Walmart or fucking drive through somewhere, and you're like, man, they're hella bitchy. You just never know what someone is going through. That's why it's good for you not to just be so quick to react when someone is moody or something like that, because you just never know what someone could be going through. And that's what I want to open up when we talk about in the next episode, because there's so much that I went through that no one would have imagined that I did. And I just want to bring awareness to it. So we'll dive into that. And then again, shout out to
Sonia Artist.
There you go. Yeah, for the t-shirts. I love them. By the way, we're going to post her below, and I'm going to go shop too because she has other stuff. I know I saw you wearing a pink shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a pink one, and it's like a girl, and she's eating tacos, and then she has a shirt on that says tacos before vatos.
Yes.
And then she has like a Selena poster in the background. Like, it was so me. I had to get it.
I love it. I love it. Well, again, thank you guys for joining us. Please tell your friends about us. Send the clips, send the YouTubes. Follow us on social media. You can share those clips too. Every little activity that you do on our social platforms helps us. It goes a long way. It spreads the word. It tells the algorithm that people, may be interested. So please do that. And for those of you who have already been doing so, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Until next time. Bye.